Okay, so with this whole long intro you guys got to just witness, you guys are here for the important things. I finally did it. I finally read the first book of The Eye of the World. I did it. I did it, everyone. I did it. I had to grab a chair because I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for, so I figured I'm going to sit because I don't want to stand, because this could be like a 20-minute video. But there's a lot in this book. Like, there is a lot. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying there's just a lot. It's really a lot. So I just finished this book last night. So when you guys see this video, it's gonna be up on Monday, but I finished it on Friday night, and this is Saturday. I'm recording it. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but anyways, so I finished this book, and I'm like, wow. I'm still trying to like understand how I feel about it. I actually really enjoyed it. I gave it a 4 stars. I was gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's definitely not like a 5-star book for me yet, but it really was good. I will say, I think one of the biggest things, and I'm sure everyone hears this, is, wow, I definitely can see that he is inspired from Lord of the Rings. This book gave me a lot of the Fellowship of the Ring vibes, which is pretty normal. After I finished this, I actually looked up a bunch of things with Robert Jordan, and I thought it was really interesting that Robert Jordan was like talking about how because he even admits, like, he's like, yeah, he's like, it's inspired from Lord of the Rings, blah, 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 but what I liked what he said is, it's not like Lord of the Rings where, like, Gandalf's like, okay, let's go Frodo. Frodo's like, okay. No, this is different, because he's like, he made it more realistic, where Rand's like, I don't think I'm gonna leave, dude. I don't even know who you are, and you're, like, in my eyes, Aes Sedai is not really a good person, good people, and I really don't want to vibe with that. I'm gonna stay here in Evans Field, and I'm like, I vibe with that, Rand. So I definitely understood his premise, his idea of the whole thing. I actually really enjoyed it. I actually thought it was a really good idea. I actually enjoyed the difference with that. Like, don't get me wrong, when I was reading it, I definitely got Fellowship of the Ring vibes through a lot of it. Like, some of the characters, I was thinking like, I think Lan might be Aragorn. And, you know, I got vibes like that. Like, in general, I really enjoyed it. I didn't try and constantly compare Fellowship and The Eye of the World at all. Like, I didn't. I read this book as what it was made for. Was there similarities? Yeah, but so was the Dragonbone Chair. So it was like my book. Like, it's a pretty normal thing that people wrote their stories exactly from Fellowship of the Ring, because that's what fantasy was. Like, everyone writes what Tolkien started. It's a pretty normal thing. So to me, I just ignore it, and I'm like, let's see this story. So I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite part, I think the best part about it, is the characters. So, like, I know how big the Wheel of Time is. Obviously, it's 14 books, and I have them all up here. So I'm not going to talk about the world too much, because I feel like there's parts where he really dives into the world, and then there's other parts where he just doesn't, which is fine. I'm not like, wow, where's all the world? Because it's 14 freaking books, so I'm not like upset about it. I think we're gonna learn more and more about it. Like, I'm really, really excited to go to Tar Valon, and I think that's gonna be really fun to see. So, like, I'm gonna do a video of the books versus the show. That's gonna be out the same week. I'm gonna compare book 1 to the show, and I'm probably gonna be really mean about the show, because reading it, I'm not gonna get into it. But anyways, I'm really excited to see a lot of these things. I'm actually excited to see what's happened to Tom, because I don't think Tom's dead. Like, how they ended it, I'm like, no, Tom's definitely not dead. So I'm like, no. And then, like, they leave off with more of the Wolf Brother things, the dagger with Matt, and then you got Rand, who's now he's like, all right, deuces, and he's just leaving because he doesn't want to, like, hurt anyone, which I really respect. You got things going on with Moraine, you got things going on with Nynaeve and Egwene and Lan, and I'm like, there's a lot of characters. And I'm like, I want to know what's going on with every single one of them. So I want to talk about the characters. So the first character I want to talk about is, of course, the main character, and that's Rand. So he starts off with this prologue of the dragon and like the Dark One talking to each other, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then you instantly get right to Rand, and they talk about how, oh, no one knows who the dragon is. You as the reader probably could put two and two together that it's probably Rand, because most of the POVs is about Rand, which would be really interesting if it wasn't. That, like, if it was Matt the whole time, like, that would be pretty crazy. But anyways, I actually really enjoy, Rand's not bad. Like, I don't mind Rand. Like, Rand's probably not my favorite character, but Rand as the main character is actually not bad, because he's really innocent, and he's not confident with a lot of things, and he's just there. Like, if that makes sense. Like, he does some things in the book where you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, but most of the time you're like, good job, Rand. Good job. Yeah. So, like, Rand himself doesn't bother me. I think Rand is just a fine character, so I'm interested to see his progression throughout the rest of the series. Because I hear a lot of the things, like, a lot of people end up hating Rand in the middle of the books. So, I guess we'll find out. Another character is Matt Coffin. Matt is a jokester kind of character, and I kind of enjoy Matt because, like, Matt brings in, like, this is serious stuff, but Matt kind of, like, jokes and stuff, and it's fun to read something like that, because it's just like, when you're reading a serious book, most people are just always serious, and then not Rand, but Matt is always just there. Like, Matt likes to make jokes, or Matt makes things a little easier to really understand. I really enjoy that about Matt. I think that's the fun part of the book with Matt. And then you got the dagger with Matt, which is actually a really interesting thing, because he isn't like himself, and you learn a lot, and I'm actually excited to see in the Great Hunt what they do with Matt, well, what he does with Matt. The next character, because they said there's 3 of them, they're all Targaryen? Correct me if I'm wrong, everyone. So Perrin is the third one that I think is Targaryen. I think that's how you pronounce it. But Perrin is my favorite character out of the 3. I think Perrin's really interesting. I like how he talks about how Perrin, like, mentions that, like, Perrin's, like, slow, but Perrin's just a thinker. Like, he really thinks what he's gonna say before he actually says something, which I think is a really healthy thing to do. I think a lot of people nowadays, myself included, I don't do that all the time, and not a lot of people do that all the time. And I think it's a really healthy thing to do, and it might make him slow-minded when he does it, but, like, Perrin likes to think things through, and I really like that with Perrin. And I can tell with Perrin, he is really, like, I like, not just Perrin, but, like, Matt, Rand, and Perrin are all kind of the same. They're very self-conscious, but I like the part where each one of them respects each other so much that they think the other one actually is better at it. Like, there's been some scenes where he has, like, when they talk to girls, and Rand's like, Perrin knows how to talk to women, I don't. And then in the one where Perrin, like, talks to a girl, and he's like, Rand's way better at talking to girls than I am. And Matt does the same thing. It seriously cracks me up, because they think so highly of the other one, but they don't have confidence in each other. And I think that's what makes really good characters, because I feel like they become better characters. And I'm really excited to see Perrin, because I'm really interested to see the Wolf Brothers stuff. And then you got Egwene and Nynaeve. So Egwene and Nynaeve. So Egwene, you don't really get too much with Egwene, I feel like. She seems like she's just a very girly girl, and which is fine. I don't have a problem with it, but I feel like Egwene just doesn't get enough time. Because, like, you do get POV chapters with Perrin and Egwene, but Egwene doesn't do too much, if that makes sense. She's more of just background the whole time, which is fine. I think because he has such a large cast that she just develops to be more of a character eventually, which is fine. I don't mind Egwene. Nynaeve, she is a moody lady. Like, I swear, anything you say, she just bites your head off. She gets so defensive, and I'm like, yo, Nynaeve, you need to freaking chill. Like, there are so many things where it just shows that she is just mean. And I'm like, holy crap, this lady just, like, if Matt says something, she just tears his head off. I'm like, whoa. And it's understandable, because if I can remember, Naive is older than the other ones, the rest of them, so it kind of makes sense. And she's the wisdom, so, like, she has to, like, take care of these people. So she looks at them as, I feel like she looks at them as, like, her younger siblings, which makes sense. And I think it was Matt or Rand. You can correct me in the comments down below. I think it was one of them that said that Naive is a mother figure for them. I think they mentioned that, which makes a lot of sense why she acts the way she does. I mean, she's not much older than them, but she also has to step up in that figure role for someone, which makes sense. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just like, holy crap. And it made me realize in the book, so there's a part where Naive and, like, Lan, where Robert Jordan kind of hints there's something going on with them. And there is a part when they are in the way, I think it was the way, where Rand's, like, sleeping, and he's, like, just sitting there, like, watching Naive and Lan talk. And Naive brought up how she, like, wants to be with Lan, but then she's like, well, aren't you intimidated by, like, a strong woman? And Lan has this really good quote, and I'm really upset. I wish I wrote it down. I just woke up and I'm like, I just want to talk about this. So, but you really get to see the vulnerability of Naive and even Lan, because when you meet Lan, Lan's just Stonewall. Nothing phases this dude. Like, this guy is just a badass. He just doesn't care. Stonewall, does whatever he wants. And when you saw that part with Naive and Lan, you're kind of like, I want to see more of this. And that's what I really enjoyed. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to read book 2. The last character, who is actually one of my favorites. Like I said, I want to say this now. I like all the characters, but I have, like, favorites. Perrin is one of my favorites, and so is Moraine. So Moraine is, I don't know what is up with Moraine, but she is just so cool. Like, I like how Moraine, she does not, like, when things get stressful, her composure doesn't shift, if that makes sense. She's very just straight to the point, and she doesn't let emotions affect her, which I really like with Moraine. Because Moraine is like, yo, we gotta get the dragon, we gotta do this, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And her emotions do flex once in a while, when Rand or Matt doesn't tell her something and she gets really mad at him. And it's really good, because it's like, it scares them, because they're like, oh frick, dude, Moraine's gonna beat the crap out of us. So I like when they do character breaks like that with Moraine, because, like I said, Moraine's a very interesting character, and I do enjoy her, and I'm actually excited to see where she goes. And there's parts of this book where I'm like, wow, this is really cool. And so I'm gonna mention this again. So I mentioned, like, obviously you get a lot of the Fellowship of the Ring vibes. I doubt the Great Hunt's gonna give me vibes of any more Lord of the Rings. I heard the Great Hunt is just insane. Like, I heard the Great Hunt is completely different than Eye of the World. Like, it's insane. So I'm pretty excited to read that. So no one spoil anything. If you guys comment, please don't spoil anything. I really want to just learn all this. The one thing I noticed, so there's a couple things I really enjoyed with this book, but there's a few things I didn't. I think the parts with Matt and Rand were kind of boring, because all they were doing is just going to town and playing the flute and juggling, which I thought was fine. But then it was like, oh my gosh, dude, this is like 100 pages of them doing this. And there was parts where, like, you know, Robert Jordan would describe a dress for like 3 pages. His descriptions is insane. And I would say it would bother me more, but, like, I read, you know, Tad Williams earlier this year, Memory, Sorrows, and Thorn. It's the same thing, so I was just fine with it. Like, I grew used to these kind of things, because I don't try to complain about the description of a book as much as I used to. And it's kind of fine now. I don't really care, but, like, that, I guess that's like, but yeah, the stuff with Rand and Matt kind of bored me, and I wish we kind of got more with Moraine and Perrin's POVs, or like, yeah, or like Naive, Lan, or Egwene's, just more POVs of them. And one of the other things I liked, one of the things I noticed, I should say, is, so they introduce the Green Man, and I instantly was like, this is Treebeard. Like, Treebeard. I instantly thought this was Treebeard, and I was like, yeah, I definitely got Treebeard vibes, but the ending was a lot different, obviously. I like the Way. I think the Way was a really cool thing of how they travel, and yeah, and of course, I can't forget this guy. I like Lionel. Lionel's actually a pretty cool guy. He seems pretty chilled. He doesn't seem violent. He seems like, because he talked about how ogres are like builders, and he doesn't seem like violent, which is good, I guess. But I liked Lionel a lot. I think Lionel was a really fun character. As a whole, I really enjoyed the book. I think the book was really fun, and I'm excited to get into book 2. I'm just trying to decide, because when I read the Stormlight Archive, I got burnt out because I was reading them like every month, and I don't want to do this with this book, so I'm going to try and do like every other month. We'll see though. So after The Great Hunt, if I want to read The Dragon Reborn, I will read it, and if I feel like it, I'll probably read the next one, or I might pace it out after, read every other month and go from there. But I really enjoyed this book. I think it was a fun book, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And I think that's a really good thing to have. Yeah, this is a longer video than I expected, but I think most of the videos are going to be about this long because there's a lot to really talk about. But yeah, make sure you guys comment. Let me know who your guys' favorite characters are in the book. Please don't spoil anything for me because I'm going to be really upset. I know I have talked spoilers in this book because I just have to, like I said, I'm going to talk about how this is like a diary for me, but yeah, make sure you guys comment. Let me know who your favorite character is. Let me know what you guys rank book 1 at and all the rankings for the book. It'll be fun to see. Right now, obviously, it's the top of my list because I have nothing to compare it to. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check out all my links down below. I just made TikTok. My goal is to get to 100 followers by the end of the year. I need 40 more, so let's get there. Check out my Instagram. If you guys want a copy of my book signed from me, DM me and I'll give you a signed free copy, or just download my book on Kindle. It's free right now until January. All I ask in return is a review. But make sure you guys stay safe, stay hungry, and tell someone you love them. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.